Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock Room. Saturday Night Live. Woohoo! Saturday night. I'm a wild and crazy guy. Saturday Night Live. The computer's saying live in 15 minutes, right?
We're good.
I've never understood this
It's there.
crazy computer world. Remember back, maybe a lot of you guys don't remember, but I remember back in the day, they were like talking about how computers were going to make everybody's lives so easy. No, definitely not easy. This thing is being.
It's there. Oh,
not
but I can read the chat. That's all that matters.
So yeah, they make everybody's life easy. Yeah, no, not mine. And remember, like, it'll be like, oh, but think of all the paper that we're gonna save. Like all the paper we're gonna save. We're gonna save so much paper. Once everything's computerized, we're gonna do all the paper, save all this paper. So the first time we started doing the computers, and you're like, you're ready to go home, and everybody's like, well, where's the freaking paperwork? You're like, well, I did it all on the computer. You said, we do the computer now. Well, we need a paper trail. Like, really? So now I got to do both. Now you got to do the paper and you got to do the computer, and then they make that thing too, like in the checkout lane, like, the guy using cash is holding all the credit card people up. And it's funny, every time I'm in the store, I'm ready with my cash, and the guy in front of you with the credit card standing there with the card in the machine going like, and then the lady's got to walk around. Oh, you want to hit this? And then she's got to go back to the cash register, hit this, come walking back around. Hey, Lori, the other Lori.
Got to go through all of them.
Oh, yeah, I will. And then goes around. So, yeah, cash is slower. No, cash is fast. Credit cards slow. So I'm going to thank everybody say hi to everybody, even though I said hi to everybody already. I lost it now.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mr. Chubby. Hey, Don. Happy birthday, Jeff. Hey, Lori. Hey, Patty. Hey, Betty. Hey, Cheryl.
Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, the other Lori. There's two Loris. And Janetta, if you're watching, Janetta.
Mom.
Mr. Chubby. Did I say Mr. Chubby?
No.
Mr. Chubby was here first, so we can't forget Mr. Chubby. And I think that getting us caught up. Maybe getting us caught up. Yeah, I think that got us caught up. There we go. So yeah, that was a little rant, but actually this week's rant was going to be, the cost of like food. Like, man, is it like going freaking crazy? And you can blame a lot of different people, a lot of different reasons why the cost of everything is going up, especially when it comes to food. But really, it's us for voting. I don't care what you vote for, Republican or Democrat. To me, they're all the same. Promises, promises, promises. They get in office, and I'm not going to do this political thing, and then nothing happens. But a long time ago, we started letting the mom and pop stores, the mom and pop farms slowly disappear and let corporate take over. Now you got these corporate farms, like the bird flu. When the bird flu comes in, it doesn't wipe out mom and pop. No, it's thousands and millions of birds. Now with cattle, with that screw worm, they're destroying thousands, and you don't have mom and pop down the road here anymore to come in and say,
Hi,
hey,
Beth.
Hey, Beth, to come in and say, hey, we'll sell, not, it's all gone. It's all gone because corporate, they let these corporate farms, corporate industry get to be too big, and just like the big bubble back years ago, when things like that fail, everything suffers. So now that's why we're paying, $25 a pound for a steak. We looked at steak the other day, and I'm like, I'm not freaking. I can, but I'm not gonna pay $15 a pound for a bone and a big chunk of fat to get a little piece of meat. Could you get sirloin at, what's that, like net sirloin's like what, like $9-10 a pound or something? I mean, it's just crazy. So no, I'm not going to spend more money than what I think it's worth. So, we'll eat more chicken. That's cheap right now until the bird flu comes, and then that's going to be really expensive.
Oh.
So,
Whoa, that just went right out.
there it is. So, yeah, so that was my rant.
Cheryl's saying, grow your own cow in the backyard. I
Yes,
keep telling them that.
But again, Cheryl, if you do that, then you can't leave. I mean, I guess you can technically leave. Hopefully your
Yes, Betty, your stuff is more expensive.
Hopefully your neighbor's not going to come in while you're gone and shoot your cows. But we talked about this, raising chickens for eggs. Again. So
Lori just bought the other Lori just bought a quarter of beef. She said it was very worth it.
Yes. If you buy big bulk thing, but again, out in the country, I'm out on the road. We lose power for days. Then all your beef is gone. So we have a generator, but it's not readily available. It's kind of big. Brenda can't be hoisting it around. So it's something to think about. But yes, soon I'll be doing that. And then one more thing. Last week, nobody said this. I had my microphone on, but I didn't have it on. So the big dummy me was rocking around. I don't know if it was really mumbled, jumbled, because I had my microphone on, but I never turned it on. So
that was all right.
So
you were
people
sick.
out there,
nobody wanted to hear you.
Yeah.
Sick.
So people out there, say, "Hey, I can't hear Dumas. Tell him to turn his microphone on." I'll get the picture. So yeah, duh. So anyhow, getting on with today's show, we're going to do some albums.
Of course.
Half of us like the albums, half of us don't like the albums. What half are you on? I don't know. But before we do the albums, I've been busy in the rock room. Although I did have a few days off this week, we didn't get a lot done. And let me pick up the camera and make some people nauseous like we always do. Like I always do. And I want to show you something here just so you see that we're still in Wisconsin yet. Check that out. Here we are. We're almost April, and this is Wisconsin. This is what we get in Wisconsin. Yay, right? Is that nice or what? Yes.
It's still light out, kind of, so I like it.
Out, but yes, that's Wisconsin. Almost April. I'll turn this around again. Almost April, and we still have all this freaking snow. And it's, what are we, like 4 days away from April now?
Yeah.
3 or 4 days away from
Yeah, we can't even rock hunt, nothing.
Freaking snow still. Like, my God. And last night it was down to like 14 degrees when I got up this morning. 14 freaking degrees. I'm like, really? 14 degrees? Like, come on. So let me, Brenda likes me to have this on a stand rather than so I'm not jumping around. So
yes.
Let me move the stand in without tripping on cords. And cords, you got a close-up of me. Was that pretty sad? Get a real good close-up of me. Close-up of Jerry. We didn't want that. Let me tip this down a little. Down a little. So anyhow, as I say, I was busy in the rock room this week. And
yeah, you need more lights on in here.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, that's better.
So I was working on stuff in the rock room this week. I did this this Pendito. And this is an Atlas mountain agate. If you watch those videos where I just cut or open that box and then cut this stuff, this is one of those Atlas mountain agates. It's kind of got a peachy color here. Really cool. So I made this pendant with that. I did this chrysocolla pendant with
Hi, Phil.
hey Phil. I did this chrysocolla pendant and I put a little cactus motif around the side, little Tex-Mex, I guess.
Hi,
So,
Rick.
hey, Sir Rick-a-lot. So, nice piece of chrysocolla. This is all copper. The other one was half copper, half silver. So, yes, I did that nice piece. I also did this. Yes, this is my, let me take it off if I can. And this is, again, I hate wearing rings because I start to freak out because I can't get them out. Get on there, you bastard. So, yeah, so I did this. Spencer Opal. I guess that's as big as I'm going to get, huh? I did my Spencer Opal. You know, how's that? Other than that black spot, and it's actually got a little sand spot there, but, you know, as far as...
Stop pointing out the flaws.
I can't help it. But as far... Well, you can't help but see that black spot. But as far as the Spencer
Mr. Chubby
Opal...
is saying that it's grease on there.
Yes, as far as Spencer Opal, look at the size of that, huh? Is that not sweet?
Jerry Ward to the grocery store.
So I went to the grocery store. Of course, you know, you're like counting your money like, oh, $1, $2, $3. So they get an extra long time to look at the at the ring, right? I mean, hey, why not? Why not show it off? And then it's, you know, and this is all sterling silver, and I used a ton of sterling on here. It's heavy. It's so heavy, my hand. Oh, my hand. And then, oh crappers!
You're knocking stuff over.
I know I'm knocking stuff over. When am I not knocking stuff over? And then, of course, another one I did.
Drum roll.
Is, and if anybody remembers this stone.
Oh, there's Brian.
Hey, Mew. This is the mule. So I finally put the mule into a pendant. And of course, I did the cactus. So this is sterling silver. And then I did a copper band around the sterling silver. And this is the mule. The one Brian found for me at the community dig site at Spencer Opal. And of course, if I could get, let's see here. I don't know if I can get some better. Nope, that ain't gonna work. So yeah, so anyhow, so this is the mule. And for people that don't know it's the mule, it says the mule right on the back. Mule. Sterling mule. So yes, this is the mule, Brian's mule. The craziest opal. I think this was the find of the trip. And of course, you know, this looks different in every light you take it into. It looks different. Yeah, beautiful piece. Again, the mule. Mule. And then, of course, I did some other stuff, but that's what the show is about. So we'll get to that eventually. So anyhow, let me zoom back out. Zoom back out.
He's starting to wish he didn't hand it to you.
He's starting to wish he did not hand it to me, right?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, I can turn any opal into that. All you got to do is send me a couple pounds of opal, and I'll be able to make you a small pendant like that.
A couple pounds for a small pendant.
So the first album is Oz, Fire in the Brain. Ooh, look at Fire in the Brain. And this was, and because our theme was heavy metal, and this isn't all heavy metal, but back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, this stuff was heavy metal before they came up with that real.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, Karen. With that real crazy stuff like they have now. This was my day heavy metal. So, yes, heavy metal. So, Oz, Fire in the Brain. Another band that was going around was Fastway. So, Fastway had some really good tunes out. Fastway. And this was not one of their albums that had like the good tunes on. Fastway. Anybody remembers Fastway?
No.
Like Easy Living?
Nope.
Good group, Fastway. Brenda doesn't remember any of these.
I know Ozzy.
Of course, George Thorogood. Bad to the Bone. Huh? Remember George? Bad to the Bone. Anybody remember Bad to the Bone? George Thorogood? I do. He even had a semi-song out, too. Oh, next up we got Head East. Of course, Head East had some really good tunes. Never Been Any Reason. Radio, stuff that made the radio. Not bad. Head East. Now my phone completely lost the chat, too.
What? It's here.
Well, I'm just saying my phone doesn't have
This thing shut off.
Yeah, because it's not on the thing. Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. Iron Maiden, they really freaking rock too, boy. And if that isn't, if that didn't scare parents to death when their kids were listening to this stuff, I don't know if anything else did.
So I remember Iron Maiden.
Yes,
that was
Iron
like my
Maiden
stuff.
had some really good tunes. This
Even
was
Brian saying, "Yeah."
This was a really good album too by Iron Maiden. Number of the Beast. Okay, now a lot of you aren't going to remember this band. This is the Flaming O's. And when I first moved to the Twin Cities back in the 80s, my brother Frank turned me on to this group right here. And this started me on my punk years where I started listening to a lot of punk. And Flaming O's is kind of punk, new wave. They weren't so much punk as like some of the crazy hardcore punk, but they were really good. And they're local. They're from Minnesota. So yeah, this was the start of my punk days. Was this band right here?
Jerry, you were never a punk.
Yeah, before I started getting really, really crazy into this punk rock stuff. I still love punk rock to this day. Okay, next we got Black Sabbath, and this is later Black Sabbath.
Cheryl said they later turned their name into Cheerios.
Flaming O's to Cheerios. I think that's when they went to London. They became Cheerios. Cheerio, pip pip, good eye. So this is Black Sabbath, and this is after Ozzy left the band. And Ronnie James Dio came in to be the guy. This album.
Then they got hot and became the SpaghettiOs.
Yeah. And then after
that's a good one.
After Ozzy left, this is probably one of my favorite Black Sabbath albums after Ozzy left. And then they kind of did some, this and that or whatever. But this I really like this album. This album was a really good rocking album. Black Sabbath.
Your ring is just flashing.
Of course, everybody wanted Rush. Here we go, Rush. When Rush and what people don't know, when Rush was coming into the limelight, I get it, the limelight. That's pretty good. So when Rush first came out, their first two studio albums were like a major flop, and then uh, um the record people said you got to do something pop. You got to do something pop. The stuff you guys are doing, nobody gets it, nobody understands. And Neil Peart, who was the band. I mean, he was the drummer, but he was writing the songs. So he said, screw the frickin' promoters. I'm gonna do an album, and this album was like all songs with like one theme, and the
Resort Dog.
Hey dog, and the studio was like, like no, that's not. And this hit the air, and fans absolutely loved it.
It's like 50-50. Some people like Rush, some people don't like Rush.
So when this came out, fans absolutely loved it, and then that's how Rush became the Rush that it's now known today. Although they're not known today because most of them passed away, but this was the album that sent them moving. This 2112. If Neil Peart wouldn't have composed this opera, as they say, who knows what might have ever happened to Rush. I'm a Rush fan. I like Rush. I'm a big Rush fan. Okay, now here we got Montrose. And Montrose, if you don't know, Montrose was, they had the lead singer, and then he left, and this guy right here came in, and if anybody doesn't know who that is, same thing. These guys were never really a big band. They had quite a few albums out that weren't really doing good, and then this guy came in, which of course is Sammy Hagar, and this album right here in particular, this blew these guys wide open because this one's got so many good tunes on it. It's got Bad Motor Scooter.
Yep, that's the one Resort Dog just said.
Yes, Rock the Nation, Space Station. So yeah, when this album came out, this album was killer, boy. This rocks. So it may not be like super hardcore heavy metal, but definitely rocking.
Hi, Lava. Yes, you entered the rock room.
Hey, Lava. Hey, Joseph. Yes, we are rocking. We are heavy metal in today. So this band,
Brian Sammy Hagar is annoying.
Yeah, you don't like Van Hagar? Yeah, when he came Van Hagar, it kind of got, and again, I get it. If you're either a Hagar fan or not. And that Montrose album, man, he really freaking rocked. I'm a Hagar fan. But when he went to Van Hagar, yeah. Some of the stuff they did on solo, maybe not. Now these guys,
Van Hagar blows.
These guys right here, not a one of them is even 18 years old. These are all kids.
What about David Roth?
This is punk. Yeah, David kind of got weird too. He had his moment, and David's one that should like give up now because he's still touring and he is horrible. But Kraut,
yes, David aged poorly.
This stuff is hardcore right here. Kraut. Okay, next we got Kiss, and that's another one too. You either love Kiss or you hate Kiss. I'm a big Kiss fan. Love my Kiss. This was Kiss Double Platinum. This had all the tunes, all their hits. Plus, it was made of platinum. So perhaps we could break this album down into metal and make some jewelry with it. Next, we got Led Zeppelin, and this is Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. Physical Graffiti, boy, this had some really good tunes on it. And this is not everybody's favorite band too, but lots of super diehard fans. Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. Good stuff. Of course, everybody know this. This is Pink Floyd Animals. And Animals has completely all animal songs. Every song on here is an animal song. And you can see the flying pig there. And this really rocked for Pink Floyd, because Pink Floyd had pretty good rock and roll tunes, rock and roll music, but this was just a crazy, crazy album. I'm a big Animals fan when it comes to Pink Floyd. Okay, next we got Billy Idol. And Billy Idol got his start in a band called Generation X. And then he left the band and went solo and said to all his bandmates. And, he went on to be famous and make lots of money. And his bandmates were like, you prick. And then they got nothing. So Billy Idol, Dancing with Myself. And if I had the chance, I'd ask the world to dance. And I'd be dancing with myself. Yeah, remember Billy Idol?
Oh, Jerry, you do the great dance moves.
Next is Styx, Grand Illusion. And Styx, again, lots of good rock and roll. This Grand Illusion was one of their really good albums. Lots of good tunes on here. Styx. Love that Styx. And, of course, now the ever immortal Ozzy Osbourne. Wizard of Oz. Ozzy went off by himself, did a lot of stuff.
He was
up
great,
until his
even
eyes.
older, because Ozfest, that was great.
So, yes, Ozzy Osbourne.
He flooded.
And they said Ozzy didn't die. They said there's rumors going around that he cryogenically froze himself. So maybe in like 200 years they'll thaw Ozzy out and bring him back to life. And
Don is saying you missed a chance to have Rolling Stones after Styx.
Oh yeah, Sticks and Stones. Yeah, that's true. Sticks and Stones. Oh, I hooked my shirt. Next, we got Nazareth. And I might have done a Nazareth earlier in the session. Maybe not. But Nazareth, Expect No Mercy, Ain't No Messing with a Son of a Bitch. Remember that song on the radio? They're like, wow, they're saying son of a bitch on the radio. That's crazy. Nowadays, that's like nothing. But all Nazareth albums are crazy, crazy looking covers. You must have some really good
Hair
artists.
of the Dog. That's a good tune.
Nazareth.
I like all hair metal.
This was my favorite. Oh, we got one more in here. We got Kansas, and this is Kansas Point of No Return. I actually like the Left Overture album better than this one. This has got, the Point of No Return, which is kind of, the one song on here. But Left Overture is probably a better album, but of course I can't, my motorcycles are in the way to get to any other one, so this is the one I seen, so I grabbed it. So Kansas, good band though. And Kansas, Kansas is another band that was starting to really fail.
I like the back.
Was really starting to fail, and they said, you guys got one more chance, and then we need a single song, and then that's when they came out with the Left Overture album, and the single song was Carry On My Wayward Son, and that was the one they released as a single. And of course, Kansas is the Kansas that we know now because of that one song. And it was just that one member of the band that completely wrote all these songs. He wrote every freaking thing. And Kansas had like 13 or 14 people in the freaking band. There's like just a massive amount of people. But yeah, crazy, crazy band. And then this was one of my favorite bands when I was a kid, probably still is, was Judas Priest, Rob Halford. And this album in particular, Judas Priest, and this is an anomaly. So if you see, this says Judas Priest, Killing Machine, but yet this album is Judas Priest hell bent for leather. So why is there two different albums? Well, because when you're releasing albums in other countries, some stuff they don't let you do, and some stuff they do let you do. So if you see the first 5 songs are all the same there, and then you got the other side here. So you have the Green Man Alicia for some reason, and they weren't allowed to put the Green Man Alicia in this release in this country. So, two exactly the same albums, two completely different titles of the albums, with all the songs exactly the same, except for the one song where you don't have the Green Man Alicia. So, yeah, how was that for an anomaly? Judas Priest. So, yeah, that was the records. Let me
We're getting heavy.
move up the records. So, that was our rock and roll. Our rock and roll. There's Brenda. Brenda's got a new shirt. Ooh, look at that. New shirt. Woo-hoo. Let me turn this back around so you don't see too much of a mess. So yeah, as the rock and roll evolved, a lot of stuff changed, and you would not believe, when I was, geez, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, and I started to get into music, actually from my older brother, Frank, and I started to buy albums, and over the time, I moved many, 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 many times. I moved to different states. I moved to Minnesota. I lived in Tennessee for a while, and numerous places here in Wisconsin. And a lot of people would have got rid of these, and especially when we came out with the cassette and the CD, just
Animar
put
Art?
them.
Who is this? Manny. Hi, Anime. Manny. I think that's Manny.
Oh, hey, yeah, hey, Manny. So when a lot of people were getting these, selling them at garage sales, dumping them off or throwing them in the freaking garbage. I mean, who knows? I was the crazy guy moving these things around, box after box after box, moving them around and around and around and around and around and around and around because I loved them. I love my albums, and albums are a lot different than any other form, because you get this big thing. A lot of them have I can look here. A lot of them have yeah, maybe not. Oh, right here. So a lot of them, with the album, the difference between the album, the cassette, or whatever, they had the sleeves. So the sleeve often had more artwork. A lot of times, all the lyrics were in the sleeves, and then sometimes, with a lot of these albums, they would even come with posters that you could, being the rebellious kid, you could put these posters up on your wall, and yeah, so they have these, these nice posters. So as your rebellious kid and your mother hated you, you could rebel even more and put these posters up all over your wall. So again, I didn't. I left mine, like my Beatles White Album, with a giant poster of, the 4 Beatles still in there. A lot of them have like booklets in the inside, like the Yes album's got a big booklet. It's like almost like a story or whatever. So yeah, that was all, the album experience. So I kept all my albums, and they moved and moved and moved and moved and moved and moved and moved with me.
He
as I
said
moved
weird that they
everywhere.
printed it backwards. That's because they're looking at us backwards.
Oh yeah, you're looking at it backwards.
Sorry.
Unless you're dyslexic, then it looked normal, right?
Yeah,
Right?
they did have a lot of black light posters.
So yeah, so then anyhow, so some people wanted to move around again. So people wanted to see some of the process of this.
Can you put your thing over there or no?
What?
Your holder?
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
It just makes it so much better if you hold.
All right. Brenna's telling me to hold. Hold! Hold! Was that Braveheart? Hold! 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 Yeah, that was Braveheart, right? Yeah. Gonna light here.
Hi, squirrel.
Hey, squirrel. So yeah, so I'm gonna drop my phone. I just know it. So this is kind of yeah, it's not gonna work. I can move over a little bit. So this is kind of where the mess happens, and so one thing when you are doing smithing, metal smithing, oh jeepers, a freaking light. So on this piece here, which is my crazy green jasper, zoom in a little bit. While I was peening over my bezel wire, which holds the stone in, I cracked off my hanger, and I tried to, and they tell you that.
Hi, Meg Mac.
They tell what's that?
Meg Mac.
Oh, hey Meg. Said that when you some stones can handle heat. I haven't found one yet. So
is silver still expensive? Lori's asking.
It's in this still. I think it's still under 70 right now, or it might be in the 70s. Oh yeah, maybe it's back in the 70s again. But so I tried to solder another.
You were peeing your what, Gary?
On there, and the stone busted because it got too hot because I had it torched. So now, you know, the stone's crap. Obviously I can make it a smaller stone, but now I have to literally pry this bezel out. Ooh, I just broke my fingernail. Pry this bezel out, pull the stone out.
What copper do you suggest? What copper do you suggest for the back of the bezel? What gauge?
I'll show you. Gauge.
Phil's asking.
I don't have like an actual gauge, Phil, but
you don't know the gauge of that?
No, I don't. I just, I get all my copper from a place called Basic Copper. So this is what I use for my bezel, and it's kind of hard to see how thick it is. And then, and you can tell, it doesn't flex. So I use a little bit of a thicker bezel piece, and this is my bottom piece, and this is actually pretty thick. And you can tell this doesn't have much give to it at all. This is some pretty thick stuff. So I like a pretty good thick piece. And when I get the stuff from Basic Copper, whoa, that's blinder there. So I get this stuff from Basic Copper. It comes with a bunch of different sheets, different thicknesses. So yeah, so I divide it out into three things: the real thin stuff, the medium thick stuff, and then the heavy duty stuff. So the medium stuff and the thin stuff I use for the bezel, and the thicker stuff I use for the base. So yeah, so
thanks Cheryl for putting that out there.
What you put out?
The copper.
Oh, so yeah, so and when I do get that from Basic Copper, it is the bargain bin, and it's the bargain bin. It's the thickest. It'll say on the bargain bin, like 3 mil to 5 mil, and then blah blah blah. I get the thickest bargain bin stuff they have. It's like $30 for like 3 pounds, which is expensive for copper, but it's not because it's copper that's already made in sheets. And like I say, you get a lot of usable copper in there. So yeah, so it's worthwhile to me. So that's where I buy it. So I buy it in the bargain bin in the copper at the copper place. So so yeah, so and oh, you can't even see if we're in. So so yeah, basically what I do is first of all, you take your stone, and let's just say this stone is that Atlas Mountain one I did on the Discord. And so first of all, you take your copper sheet. So
Well, that's like blinding.
I know. So
Are you even in frame here?
Yes. So everybody remember what this tool is? Compass, protractor? No, it's your divider. Divider.
Wooden chrome.
It's
Hello, wooden chrome.
Hey, wooden chrome. So this is your divider. So you go and you measure the thickness of where your bezel is, and you want to go just above where you start to get your chamfer.
So you got to move this way. There you go.
So you go just above where it starts to chamfer your round over, and you kind of measure and get that thickness, right? So once I got that thickness, then I'm just going to go on my copper. And if you see how one of these is longer than the other, so that would be your bottom. So the longer one, I'm going to drape over the edge, and then the other one, I'm just going to go and I'm going to scribe that line, right? So I scribe that line, and then I'm just going to take my shears, and this is just the metal shears, and actually I'm going to put on my glasses because I can't see what the frick I'm doing here. So I'm just going to take my shears, and I'm going to cut that line. Oh, I don't know if I'm out of frame.
There, now you're better.
I'm out of frame.
Now you're better.
So I'm just cutting this out with my shears. Okay, and now you got this wonky piece of metal. So you go and let me go here. You need a if you don't have a anvil, I have a regular Harbor Freight vise. So what I'll do is I'll go put this on the flat metal part of my vise, and this is a rubber, one of them big rubber hammers that you get at Harbor Freight, and I'll just go, and I don't want to pound because I'm gonna knock stuff. So on my vise, I'll just go and I'll pound this completely flat on my vise. So once I got it flat, then I take my stone, and I go around. I take that and I go, and once you got it completely flat, you kind of go around your stone and then get a length. You know what length you think you might need for the stone, and then snip it off. And then you can take your torch, and this is just a regular Dremel little butane, fill it up. So you take it and you heat this to, it kind of turns red. And what that does, it's called annealing. And what that does is it'll make this copper, see how it's like really springy? So once you anneal it, that'll take the spring out of it. So if you can see how this isn't shiny anymore, what I did is I heated it up and I annealed it, and that took the spring out of it. So now it's still springy, but it's not quite so springy anymore. So when you bend it, it kind of holds its shape better.
So I have a question. So when it's laying on here, do you heat it on here or on that, or
yeah, you can heat it on anything you want. But if you use a charcoal block like this black thing, charcoal block, this retains the heat better. But they're both. This is a heating tile, same tile they use on like the space shuttles. So
you're not burning up the table.
Yes. So, but yeah, if you use a charcoal block like this, charcoal block is where you do most of your heating. Otherwise, a lot of times I'll burn stuff up against here, which kind of helps too. But now that I have this, annealed, where it's a little bit softer, I squeeze this tight. So I got this tight. If you look in the bottom where it's tight all the way around.
You're not in frame. There you go. Now you are.
So it's nice and tight. And then I just take a scribe, which I use one of my my picks, and then I just scribe a little line on there. And if you can see it, maybe not, the little line on there, and then that's where I want to cut.
Snip.
Okay, and then I cut, and then when you cut, of course, you know, now the shape is all wonky. So I just take one of my, either my half round, half flat pliers, and I'm going to flatten that out, right? And make sure the other side's flat. And you want this at a perfect 45 degrees. And then if it's not, just take your file, or if it's got a little bit of an uneven thing, just take your file and get that flat, because you want both sides, because solder will not flow into a gap. So if there's any kind of a gap, the solder will not flow into that gap. So you want this to be perfectly flat. And now if you see this,
you're not in frame, and it's dark right there. There you go. Now we can see it.
So if you look at that, no, not even close. So not only am I not flat, and this again, this is a another pliers that doesn't have any grooves in it. These are flat, and the reason they're flat is because to make stuff flat. So if I look, this one is kind of round. This bottom piece is kind of round like that. So I still need to get that flat. And this actually is a magnifying glass, which really helps you out.
When you got bad eyes?
I don't have bad eyes.
Oh.
You fell for that one. So it's still a little bit round yet. So I'm going to go a little bit more, because you want this flat. Okay, so now I got both ends perfectly flat. So now what you're going to do, you're going to kind of bend these past each other.
Whoa, you're way out of frame.
That's because you moved the phone. No, I'm watching the phone down here.
Yeah.
So you kind of bend these past to kind of give it a little bit of a spring. And then you're going to keep moving these around until you line them up. And they stay. So they stay together like that. So now what I'll do is move all this mess I got here. Oh, did you see how it just popped? So that's the fun part, is patience. You got to have patience. So now, am I in frame yet? Oh,
yeah.
I'll just do it like this. So now I'm going to take it, and I'm good yet?
Yeah.
I'm going to heat it up. And let me turn the light off, which will kind of maybe help you guys. I'm going to heat this up.
He's playing with fire, folks.
So I don't need to get it real hot. I'm just warming it up. And then we're going to take our flux, and that's what this yellow stuff is flux. And I'm going to just drip a little flux on there. Whoop, that was way too much. It was stuck. Okay, now see how it turned white? That's because I heated it up. And heat that flux up a little bit, because you need flux.
So you put the flux in the crack.
Yeah, so you need flux in that, because flux will not flow where there's, or the solder will not flow. You need no gap, and you need flux for the solder to flow. Now solder, I use sheet solder. So solder comes in 3 different types, actually 4 different types, but I use 3. It comes in hard, medium, and easy. And the reason for the different hardnesses is because when you do your first solder joint, when you're doing subsequential soldering, like soldering on the base plate and stuff, you don't want your hard solder, your first solder joint, to melt. So that's why you use a medium solder that takes less temperature, and then finally an easier solder that'll even take less temperature. So to start out, we're going to use hard solder. And all you do is take the hard solder and just, and you know, of course, because it's springy, just make sure you hold it tight. Otherwise, that piece is going to go flying.
Did it go?
Yeah, it flew. So just go gently. There, it jumped onto my finger that time. Oh, there it was right there. So we'll take that just because we have an extra one, and I'll put it in the hard bag because we can use that for later. So now I'm going to take our piece of solder and I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to take this joint or the seam and go right on top of that solder. We're right on top of that solder.
Right in the joint.
Yeah, it's right above the
where
joint.
the flux is.
So now I'm going to take my torch again.
Fire, fire.
And I'm just going to keep going because you need to heat up the whole entire piece to get this solder to flow. So don't just concentrate on one area. Go on the whole area. Now you see how it's, maybe you can't, maybe I can turn this off, might help a little bit. So you can see how this whole thing is kind of getting red or pink.
Yep, we can see it.
Now I'm going to kind of concentrate and watch that solder is just going to jump up in that joint. Once it gets hot enough, you'll see
It
that
sucks it up?
solder. Yep, just watch. You'll see that solder jump up. There it went. Okay, did you see that solder jump up in there? So now we're going to take it. We're going to spin it around. And we're going to do the same thing, but on our back side. And I know this is going to be a little bit difficult to see. But now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that solder to come through the backside. And the solder is going to follow the heat. And there it went. Did you see it come? So, you know, I know that's hard to see because it's pretty freaking
Don
tiny.
said the joint is jumping. Betty's saying thanks, Jerry. This is cool.
So, yeah. So now the solder went front to back, back to front. So remember, to get the solder to flow, you got to get that perfectly flat, no space. You got to flux it. And then the solder is going to follow the heat. So now,
so that crack just sucked that stuff
yes.
right up.
So now we're going to
back
pickle.
in front.
So now we're going to pickle it. And what pickle is, if people aren't sure don't know pickling, pickle is when you're stuck between two bases.
Rick
on
said
a
he heard
baseball.
of jumping spiders, but not jumping solder.
Yes, pickle is when you're stuck in between two bases in baseball. But pickle is right here. Pickle. This is pickle. This is your pickle. And it's basically a dry acid compound. See right there? For pickling, blah, blah, blah. Not for food. So I got a little tiny crock pot here, which is out of frame. It's just a mini crock
Should
pot.
I move it so you can see it?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
So I'm going to take this. Now, if you see how brown, dark.
You're not in frame.
How brown and dark it is. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop it in my pickle. And my pickle's hot. If you can't see the steam, but my pickle's really freaking hot. And I'm going to drop that in my pickle. And I'm going to let that pickle. Yeah, it's steaming. Oh, here's a piece of medium solder too. So now, this is how it'll look like when I pull it out. It's not the regular copper anymore. It loses its silver stuff or its shine.
So it first lost its shine from heating it, and it turned brown. And then when you pull it out of the pickle, it looks like this?
Yes.
Okay.
So now that you got it out of the pickle, so this is my piece I just took out of the pickle. You can see my solder joint there. So now, before you get too far, take your stone, and of course, you know, this is a different stone.
Because he wanted to make it easy so you guys could see this.
So now we got a different stone, but this is just coming out of our pickle. We just soldered this bezel wire together.
How long do you leave it in the pickle?
Just a couple minutes, 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. So now you put it on around your stone again. So if I were to get that one out around my round stone, I'm going to put it around my stone, and then I'm going, because you know it's going to be when you bent that around to get the edges to you bent it out of shape again. So now you want to get it back to the shape that your stone is. So just basically go around, and this is a flat nose. Just basically go around your
this
stone.
hand is in the way. Nobody can see.
So just go around the stone.
Remove your hand. You can't.
I can't. So I'm just going to go around the stone and push it and keep pushing it and pushing it. So when I take it off the stone, it keeps the shape. So that's all you basically want to do is make sure you keep the shape. Because if your shape is wonky and we soldered it on our plate, you ain't going to get that stone in there. There's no way it's going to get in there.
Jerry knows.
So yeah, so when you get it, the shape, now you got the shape. So now you have the shape, you want to make sure, you know, and when you're cutting out this, which was out of that thicker copper, don't use your shears. Use a saw. And this is a little jeweler saw, a little fine blade. And the reason we don't cheat and use the quick shears is because if you use the shears, you're gonna wonky, bendy this plate, and one, remember, solder will not go in between a gap. So you need want this piece to be perfectly flat.
Jerry, are you talking from experience?
Yes. So now that this is perfectly flat, we got this, we got it on our shape. Now take this with a piece of sandpaper.
And what type of sandpaper?
And this is 220. It's metal sandpaper. Go on your sandpaper and do a crazy 8. And if you want, you can take like your Sharpie, and this isn't a regular round one, and take on that edge and do a magic marker line, a black line on there. So when you're sanding this and doing your crazy 8, you can keep looking and then make sure all your black is gone. And now we know we're completely flat. So then.
So you did that pre.
Yeah, so I already did that. And then again, put it back on your stone. Make sure it goes right on your stone. Make sure your shape from sanding didn't move your shape out. And if it did, again, push the edges all tight. And again, you can see from the bottom, there's no gaps. And then once
flux won't move. Hey, I sound like something's moving in here.
Nice, probably a squirrel. So now that we have that done, we have this done, and we put it on here, and you see there's no gaps, no gaps at all. This fits on there perfectly, no gaps. So then we'll take our torch again.
Are you going to solder it on there?
Not the second.
Oh.
So now we're going to take our torch again, and we're just going to heat this all up.
Both things.
Yeah, we're just heating everything up. Yep. And you'll see it kind of start to turn again, that wonky color. Actually,
and what's the deal of heating it?
Because we're going to flux it, and you don't necessarily have to flux it or have to heat it right now, but I do, so that right away when the flux hits it, the flux will dry out or foam up, as they say. Now you can see how it's changing colors. You see that?
Yeah.
That's just letting me know it's hot enough. So now I'm going to take my flux.
So hot enough not to touch it with your finger.
Yeah, don't touch it. So now it's hot. I'm going to go around with my flux and see how that flux is doing that.
What is the material under the copper?
It's copper.
No. Oh, under the piece that he can heat it. This is a fire brick thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's space tile. Space tile.
Space tile.
So now if I didn't heat this up, which I didn't do it hard enough, but now you see how your flux is all liquid right now?
Yeah.
You don't want, so we're going to burn this, we're going to dry it out. So it's going to bubble up first, right?
So you didn't make it hot enough.
It doesn't matter, you just want the flux to stay
white
on the edges where I'm working. Oh. So we don't want the flux everywhere.
Right.
We kind of want it in our seam. So that was it. So, and now let's pull our thing out of our pickle.
Oh, your other one.
our other one, and we can dry it off.
Is it hot to touch?
And it's warm, but not that hot. And don't drip the pickle on your clothes because it's acid. It'll eat your clothes. So now remember when I said on your stone, because we fidgeted with this to get this to go, we need to now fit it in there, and you can see how it's all kind of wonky. So again, I would just around
and squish it
and just kind of push that around. So there. So now don't touch that. It's really freaking hot. So do as I say, not as I do, because I've touched these. And I can, I can touch a lot of this stuff, and it's not really that bad to me.
Is flux Flux?
Flux?
Yeah. Rick wants to know if it's spelled flux.
Flux.
Yep.
So I use self-pickling flux. Can you see that? Is it in there?
Yeah.
All right, so that's a flux I use. And you can use it in a spray bottle.
Yes, in the pickle makes your clothes fall off.
Yes, so you can use it in a spray bottle, but it's best to use it in a dripper because you'll save money in the long run on flux by using it in the dripper. So now we'll take, remember we used our hard solder for our first step. And now we're going to use our medium solder to solder our bezel down to our piece. So I'll just do a couple pieces here.
Okay.
So, and you need a steady hand, no shakies. And you want this.
Well, your hand looks shaky.
I know, because I'm nervous. So you want this right next to the edge.
So you want to put it in the crack.
Not in the crack.
Well, from the bottom to the top.
Yes, to where
so it can suck in there.
Yes, so it's right next to the crack so that when it heats...
Here, I don't know if I can zoom in, people.
Oh. So now I got my 2 pieces of solder right at the edge.
I guess not. Sorry about that.
Well, they kind of understand the thing. So I got my pieces of solder right touching the edge. Okay, so now I'm going to take my torch. No.
Ooh. Oh, you don't get to play with fire again?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
But that torch, seeing this is a big piece, and yeah, this does get hot enough, and it will get hot enough, but, yeah, who wants to take an hour? I don't. Do I want to use my Smith's little torch? No, people can't afford that crazy stuff. So I'm going to show you. You don't need that stuff. This, and I know this is supposed to be blue because all propane cans are blue now, but this is actually black because I get these at estate sales. Of course, you know me, estate sales. So this is regular propane, and this is a mag torch thing. It's a little bit more than the non-lighter. This doesn't have quite enough power.
They couldn't see that.
Oh, well, these torches come in. This is a self-lighting torch. And
so we're going to play with big fire now.
Yes. So basically, yes, with this, we're going to do this a lot quicker.
More power.
So that's our torch. And again, we're just going to...
Oh, it sounds like it.
We're just going to heat up the edges. Remember, the solder is going to follow the heat. So we want to just heat up the bottom. We're trying to keep the heat away from the bezel itself. And again, you'll see that solder go when it goes. All right, see it going?
Yeah, it melted away. Now you got to work on that other piece.
And now it'll follow the heat, and there it went.
Whoa, that's a lot of heat.
So of course I got this little warm.
That sucker was like...
Well, I tried to do it really fast to try to get you to kind of see what you're doing there.
Yes, that was a lot of fire.
And if you see, Now the solder, and I know it's going to be tough to see. I could pickle it. So the solder went and followed that joint.
Yeah, it's sucked
so
right in
now what I can do, or what I'll do, is where the solder didn't flow yet, because I just put a couple pieces, and you could have done the whole thing at once, but I'm showing you how to make sure that all your seams are filled. So now, if you did that and like a part lifted up, you know, then the solder wouldn't flow. You'd have a big lump of solder. So it's easy to do this just in little sections. So now I'll take this piece like this. I'll take a couple more pieces of solder, drop them down in the bottom there, and then I'll just take the torch and I'll just keep heating it as I go around, so I can make sure that solder, so I can make the solder that you can see that the solder flowed in. After I pickle this, which I will right now, and again, another thing with a pickle, don't drop the stuff into your pickle with anything but copper. Because if I would put this metal, any of this metal stuff into my pickle, it'll actually eat, because you can see how it's eating this copper too. It'll take metal off this.
Not only does it take off clothes,
yes, it'll take the metal off of this, it'll put it into the water, and then the second you drop silver or copper in there, it's going to draw to the silver and copper. So then you're going to have steel on your silver and copper, and you don't really want that. So I'm gonna, although this is not done, I can go back and continue on
even after you pickle it.
Even after I pickle it. So I'll pickle it. I'll show you what it kind of looks like, and then when I go back to soldering, same thing.
Don's saying hot metal on my pickle is a no-go.
Yes, I'm gonna heat it back up. I'm gonna reflux it, put in my solder, and then it'll be ready to go. So that'll bring us to this step. Okay, so now, as you can see, maybe you can't.
Oh, that floods it out, kind of. Oh, there, that's better. No, it's all right.
The solder completely flowed. You can see on the inside and on the outside, the solder completely flowed all the way around. And you can look at that, because this is copper. Silver, it's going to be a little bit hard to see. If this was sterling silver, you wouldn't be able to see that. So you would have to actually take a light source and look from the light behind and see if you can see light coming through.
Yeah, they couldn't see none of that.
Oh, so you're going to actually take a light, shine it on the outside, and then you'll see light, if light's going through there or not. Okay, so now that we have our bezel soldered down, we need just something to hang the chain on. So this I just took a little piece of that extra bezel wire. I formed a little loop. I crimped it. And then I just took a piece of easy solder, because now we're at the last stage. I used a piece of easy solder, and I just soldered that. Are we in the frame yet? Yeah. I used a piece of easy solder and just soldered that down. So now I soldered that down. So now we're getting ready to lay our stone.
What is this on the outside that you did?
Oh, it's a stamp. These are stamps you can get. So I just did like a little, it's kind of like a cactus flower, kind of the, or this
And how did you do that? You just put your stamp on there and pound?
Yes. Yeah, they're just regular punch stamps. I'll grab a bigger one so you can see.
I made him put it in a stand, Cheryl. So he's.
So this is a stamp. A stamp is, you just put it on the stone and then tap it. You know, I don't use a big hammer. And I stamp on my vise that's got a big flat plate on it. And I just give it a couple stamps, make sure it's stamped. And then, yeah, that just kind of gives you a little bit of design.
Decoration.
Little decoration. So yeah, so now it's kind of completely or completed. So now you're going to want to go around, and because your bezel is kind of like thick on top, I just take my file, and these are like little files, and I just go around the edge to kind of thin this top part down. And then if you look at the stone, you know, the stone is kind of thinner. It tends to get thinner by the edges. So I kind of drop them a little bit thinner too, and then get that really thin on the edge, because when you're crimping that stuff over, it'll have a better look. So then if you look, if you put this stone on there, that stone is way, way too small. You know, when I peen over the bezel, it's going to be like that.
So it's going to sink in there.
So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some stuff in here like this, and then this little piece of scrap copper, and then I'm going to drop my stone in there.
Oh, sneaky.
And you can, and I don't want to do this, but I'm kind of rushing. So you can, oh my God, this is going to bust.
Don't do it if it's going to break.
Well, I'm just, no, get it. There it went. Oh, and it popped back out. Oh, it's because it's that freaking that foam is popping it back out. Maybe I don't need that. Put this. Okay, so we'll put our stone in there. That's what it is. It's the foam pushing it back out. So now see, because I made sure that that bezel was at the size. So, you know, if I didn't want to, you know, I could pop this stone back out. So now we got our stone in there, right? This is a peener or a bezel pusher.
What did you say at first?
A peener, because you're peening it over. So now you just go around your stone, and you're just going to push this.
Oh,
owie.
Did you cut yourself?
It's not sharp. How can I cut myself? So you're just basically going to push this bezel, and you just keep going around and around and around and around. And I know you can't really see, but that's all. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna just keep going around and around and around till I take that bezel wire
and squish it over,
and I get it to the contour of the stone. And then after that's done, I take this, and you can use a bunch of different tools, but I use this, and they have a I can't remember what this is called. Something, but I just take this, and this is smooth, and this is what I use to really go around and smooth that all up, right? So then it's nice and freaking smooth. And if I had a finished one, I can show you on something finished. So now you can see on this finished one where I completely use my bezel pusher, and you can see from the top how rounded in that is. And then after I got my bezel completely put on there, then I went around with this, a burnisher, and then I burnished that edge.
Burnisher. Yep, that's what they was just saying.
So then I burnished that edge, and I kept going around, and then I got it all burnished on, which your stone is now held in there super tight. And then that leads us to the polishing stage. So the polishing stage, what you use is a bunch of, and you can get different ones, but as Karen said last night, Rio Grande, right? Rio Grande. So these are sunburst discs, and basically what they are is they're like let me pull one out. And you can kind of stack these up, and these are like little, and they're like sandpaper, or like silver, or diamond embedded in them, and they'll spin. And this is just a Dremel, and of course it's a cordless Dremel, or I should say, it doesn't have. It's a running off the motor that you hang, and then you get these little burrs or these little wheels. And basically what you're doing is the colors. for in frame.
Yeah.
Colors, coarser to finer. So you start out with your coarser ones, and you're basically just going around. This is kind of like a shaper one, and then these are ones, these wheel ones kind of get in tight grooves.
Hi, Ronald.
And hi, Ronald.
Ron Hoppy.
Ron Hopus?
Yes.
Hey, Ron. So this will kind of get into your grooves better. You know, you can use liver of sulfur, and that'll kind of darken. So where I got them stamps in there, you can like darken that if you use like liver of sulfur and then polish over it. And then these will kind of be darker. But again, you know, it's just, again, something if you want to do, you can. You don't have to. So then I take my wheels, and then after you got it all polished up with that, you take a little pad like this, and I use Zam, and Zam's just a compound, and you and we got some other polishing compounds, but you just, you know, run this in your Dremel, run it in the Zam, get a bunch of Zam on there, and then just go around in that, and that's what's polishing. That's what polishes it for you, and then you kind of get to this stage, and then it's ready to go.
So when did you put the name on the back, like the mule?
Oh yeah, if you're gonna do that, and again, if you do it, and I don't sell anything, so
chrome oxide.
Chrome oxide.
Yeah,
yeah, depending on what you want to use. So oh, let me turn this. Oh, what the heck? Oh, there was my Zam flying. So
you're Zammed out there.
Now let me think what I was thinking
How
about.
oh yeah, so
yeah, so I don't sell anything, so I don't normally label too much stuff. But you know, when you did that originally and you had that flat piece,
they're looking at nothing.
Well, I'm looking at something because I'm looking at something. I don't remember what I did. Oh, I put it in here.
He had it in the pickle and he couldn't remember.
The glass case out of here. So, yeah, I was going to show them this anyhow.
Okay.
So this is the piece I took out of the pickle. Now you can see.
They can't see it.
There, now you can see. You know, now you can see where the solder has went and didn't go, flowed, where the solder flowed where it didn't. But yeah, so before I put this bezel on here, same thing, you just take your stamp and put it on your flat thing
before you put the bezel
on.
Yeah,
because now it's just gonna
you don't want to push it.
So so before I had this bezel on there, this is like this is
on this piece of.
Yes. So if you want to pull the camera out.
Yes. You guys are going to go for a short ride. Sorry.
Let's do something. We'll do a big one.
Okay.
Okay, so Brenda's taking a dive. There was our flat plate, and you want it flat. And we'll just put our thing down here. And you'll feel it kind of sink in. No, I moved it. Hold on, let me do it again. This is a bigger thing. So
bigger stamp.
Yes.
Whoa! Sorry about that, guys.
So then, there you go.
Okie dokie.
So that's how you do your stamp. Hopefully I didn't smash my stamp. So yeah, so then again, then you polish it, and
sorry guys.
There you go. Then you're ready to go. And like I say, this one's sterling. So yeah, so you know, that's basically it.
Okay. So you want to put this back up over there?
Want to me to go over anything else?
I hope you guys caught that.
I can always do more. Alrighty.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you got to turn around.
Yeah. I hope that if you guys needed how to do it, that's how to do it.
So then, yeah, so I'll leave that out for now.
Yeah, just leave it.
So then, yeah, so you know, it's pretty simple. It's kind of you know, it takes some time, some patience.
So everybody's saying thanks, heaps for sharing this.
Don't give up. And then same thing when I
practice.
Right. So when I made this ring, basically I used, of course, you know, I got a mill, so you know, a lot of people have to buy certain material, but I have a mill, so a rolling mill, so I can make this stuff. So what I did is I made half round silver, and then I took a ring mandrel. This is a ring mandrel. Basically, it gives you the sizes, ring sizes. Then I got a ring hole gauge. You know, if you don't know your size, you put a ring sizer on, and then
you can't get
it off.
Yeah,
then you know what your ring size is. So, basically, then after I got my half round wire, I just went and I hammered it around till I got my shape. And then once
Manny wants to know how to get to Carnegie Hall.
How to get to Carnegie Hall?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then once you got that shape and I got my ring done, I took it and I filed it flat. And then this top part is basically just like a pendant where I did the flat plate. Although the flat plate on this is on the inside. So I actually did a flat plate, and then I put the bezel, rather than going around the stone, I put the flat plate inside of the bezel, so you'll never see like an edge. So you don't see that edge. It doesn't, you know, if I would have used copper, you would have never seen it was copper. So I hid it in there. Again, you could do it either way, but that's just the way I did it. And then, so that's how I did this. So yeah. So, but basically it's the same exact thing, concept, where you're just doing a bezel. And there are obviously a lot of different ways you can do rings.
Maybe next time you can show a ring or something.
Yes. I was going to say,
because this was a lot. He had to have a lot of pushing to set this up, but, and it is a lot to take in.
Yes, you know, you could do a lot of different style rings. You know, like this one.
Nice. And then he throws it on the floor.
Like this one is for a regular gemstone in there or whatever. But you can do a lot of different things, whatever you want. And again, it just depends on, you know, what you're after. But again, you know, the most critical thing is you know, just don't give up. Just don't worry. You're gonna wreck stuff.
Yeah. Look at that one that you just wrecked.
Yes, like that stone. A good thing to do is start with like copper. You know, just use copper because it's a lot cheaper. If you don't have a ways to melt silver like what we do, we can, you know, I can take something, I can melt it back down, I can make it into an ingot, I can put it back in the rolling mill, and I can use it right back again. Other than time, it didn't actually cost me anything other than time. So yeah, so start with copper. Start with like a round shape, because you get any kind of like pointy shapes, anything with points, you know, like a square where you got four, you know, that those are tougher. Try to keep to a round shape when you're starting out. Round shapes are going to be a lot easier to do than anything with a point. Keep to something small. You know, we do a lot of big stuff, probably too big. More of like man size.
Giant.
I don't want to say man size because that's wrong, but yes, giant size stuff. But that's kind of what we wear.
But then it's flashy.
We like the big, you know, the bigger the stone, the more you can see what the stone looks like. So yeah, that's kind of what we do with the big stones. You know, big stuff, big, you know, because you can see that. Maybe not on my same colored shirt, but you know, you can see that a mile away. So that's what we like to use. So yeah. So big stuff, but keep, you know, small stuff easier to do. like when you're putting your bezel on your flat piece. If it's just a small stone, you're gonna need like 3 pieces of solder in there, and just and and if you're starting out, they make it's like gel solder or something, solder paste, and they make it in hard, medium, easy, and maybe even super easy. The paste, I heard that like for like starters, this paste stuff is like supposed to be really easy to use because it's got the flux already in it. It's already kind of liquefied. So that might even be something if you're a beginner to use that
Danny's
solder
saying the
paste.
paste works.
What?
He said the paste rocks.
Yes. So so when
so no need for flux with that.
no need for flux. But again, you're paying a lot more for it in the long run. When you got like
Cheryl said she has man-sized hands, she needs a big
yes.
ring.
So when you have like the sheet solder, it's pretty cheap. You can cut it to the specs that you need. So it just what you learn with is kind of what you stick with. But if you're unlearned, then use that and or starting out or want something easier, then use that solder paste. I mean, why not? I mean, it's something, I don't know when it actually came out. It's relatively new, so yeah, why not? I mean, why not take the advantage of making it easier because they have stuff that's easy to use. So yeah, it's definitely the way to go nowadays, because it's available. So why not, right?
But don't eat the paste.
No, don't use it for filling, like in
your tooth.
You're filling because you're silver. Isn't filling silver something?
Yeah,
amalgam or something. Silver amalgam. Oh, something like
he
that.
said you can get copper colored paste too.
Yes, you can get like and that's the thing with like copper soldering. They don't make, or maybe they do, but I guess I've never looked for it, but I don't think they make a copper solder. People just have always used silver solder with copper, and even like when you're doing like copper pipes and stuff, that's silver solder that you get with your regular plumbing kit. But that's not silver. That's like a different silver. So yeah, they have silver solder, but copper solder, yeah, maybe. Obviously, Manny said they have copper solder in a paste. So yeah, imagine that. So then you can hide all your joints. So but I think it's been relatively accepted in the smithing industry that you're going to see that little joint in there. I guess I don't know. I don't sell stuff. I'm not that good. And again, I make stuff for gifts. So with making stuff for gifts, you don't you don't have to be that good because you're just giving away stuff. So yes, I don't make stuff. We make stuff for ourselves and for gifts. So if I was going to start selling stuff, maybe I'm going to do that in my retirement. I'm going to spend a lot more time slowing way down because I can do probably 2 pendants in a day, or I'm not the whole day, but in a day, like no big deal. But yes, to really do good stuff, you're going to want to slow down, take your time, and
listen to the tunes
and do stuff better. Yeah, and listen to rock and roll. So yeah, yes, and I do pound the tunes, but yeah. So yeah, that's it. I got to go to work. Back to the fun stuff, and believe it or not, they called me on. I got home on Tuesday. They called me on Wednesday, or was it still Tuesday?
It was still Tuesday when she called you.
Yeah, so they called me on Tuesday and said, "Hey."
After you just did 3 runs in a row.
I just did 3 freaking runs. They called me and they're like, "Hey, such and such is breaking down. here's what we need you to do. And I'm like, no, I got a dentist appointment. And I got a 401k meeting that, no, I'm not. No, I can't. Oh, but you'd leave Wednesday night and you'd be home Tuesday morning. Thursday morning before your dentist appointment. And I'm like, yeah, I would, but I would have to drive
all night long,
all freaking night till freaking Thursday morning and hope, that they made it to a certain distance that I would be able to get back in time and then go to my dentist appointment with no freaking sleep.
Mm-hmm.
No way. No, I'm not. I can't. And I'm not lying. I can't. Just no. No. So they told me, they would think of something else, and then something else happened where they didn't think they needed me. But thank God, I'm like, oh my God, give me a break. So yeah, truck driving, right? And then the stock market, I had my 401k meeting. Not a good time to have your 401k meeting is right now, because to see how much money I lost in the last freaking 4 weeks or 5 weeks now, not happy at all. I'm like, you're as a stock trading company, a financial, people, after like week one, you think like, well, hey, we're going to move all this stuff into like a safe bet, watch and see what happens, as we're, doing all this stuff. And then, no, we're going to let your stuff, I can say shit, no, I'm not getting paid to do this, right? We're not making any money. So let this stuff ride because it's your money. Poor people, yeah, let your money ride. All the rich people are already out of the, the incentive people are already out of the market. They pulled back everything because they knew, so our stuff is stuck in there taking these big, huge losses. So yeah, they're like, oh, well, don't worry. In 10 years, you'll recover all that you lost. I'm like, I don't have 10 freaking years to recover all that I lost. What is a guy like? Well, you don't want to act rash and take it out. I'm like, yeah, I want to take it all out. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. I'm like, yeah, but I do want to do that. I'm like, well, you need to think long and hard. No, I want to take it all out now. Well, I guess we can't stop you. I'm like, well, you sure seems like you're trying to stop me, right? Like, it's my money. Give it to me now. It's my money. I want it now. It sounds like JB Byrider. Do you guys got JB Byrider? Is that the car dealer? Or is that freaking... It's my money. I want it now. So yeah, another blah blah blah.
Rant.
So anyhow,
yes, you're getting too excited. You got to get ready to go to bed.
It's the big one, Lamont. It's the big one. It's the big one, Lamont. It's the big one. So yeah, I got to get ready for work. Dog's probably in there howling at the moon like Ozzy Osbourne, bark at the moon. So yeah, thanks everybody. Hope you learned something because I didn't. If you start smithing, ooh, look at that. If you start smithing, you're going to
you're shining your face. Quit that.
You're going to the best teacher, as it is in everything else, is mistakes. So your best teacher is going to be mistakes. Take your time. You make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. Make mistakes. Just don't make mistakes where you cook a stone and crack the stone. That's a big mistake.
That's what you just did.
That's going to take me a while to fix that. So, well, it's already in there. I just thought I'd gamble. I got lots of stones. So, yeah. So take your time. Make mistakes. That's the fun about it. But, once you start doing it, you're going to find it's very, very addictive. You're like, wow, that was freaking pretty cool, right? Look at that. And eventually, the guys that got, thanks Brian and Julie for inviting us to, getting us the invitation to Spencer.
Okay.
You can.
And then I say, be kind.
You can
smile. You never know.
Yeah, Brenda never knows.
I don't.
And Brenda's still whining for me to make me mango necklace and ring.
Well, you started and then you broke it, and then you gave up.
So yeah, no, I didn't. I made mine and the mule. So yeah, so anyhow, blah blah blah. I gotta go. We gotta go. So again, everybody,
We very much appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
See you soon in a rock room near you. Live long and prospect. Bye, everybody. How do I turn this off?
You never know.
Ooh, turn it off. Ooh, turn it off. Ooh, turn it off.